Welcome to Canvas Projects, a virtual program offering from the Pflugerville Public Library. I'm Meg Miller, an Adult Services Librarian, here with another fun project geared to ages 12 and up for you to complete. Those who registered through the library calendar can pick up their material supply kits, and for everyone else watching, we hope you give these techniques a try. This month's project is a masking tape monogram. Let's start with a look at the supplies being provided. In our envelopes this month, you have your 6 paint pot palette. You should have a gold paint pen. This is a size 10 brush, so it's a little bit bigger than what we're normally handing out. And then this is just a blank plastic card with some masking tape wrapped around it. And for our canvases this month, we have the 8x10 black canvas so that metallic paint pen really pops out. I believe most of the canvases do still have their plastic on it. So one of your first steps is just going to be to take the plastic off of your canvas so that you're ready to start your project. So there's our canvas. Our paints this month I tried to do a dark and a light of each color. So we've got our Sargent acrylic spectral green. And for the light on that, we have a pearl chartreuse. For the yellows, it is a Craft Smart dark yellow. And then a pearl banana yellow. And in the purples, it is just a lilac, so a lighter color purple, but not the metallic. And then the metallic in that one is a little bit of a darker. So this is a wild purple, blue iridescent that we've got here. So in addition to what's in the kit for this project, you're probably going to want a little cup of water to rinse some brushes off on, some paper towels to help clean your brushes. If you've got extra paintbrushes around, you can grab those as well and use them for multiple colors if you wanted, or if you've got different size brushes, since this brush is pretty large, you might want to do something like these other brushes for detail work if you've got them. If not, I definitely completed our example project with basically just this brush alone, so you'd be able to do that as well. So our first step is going to be to decide, do you want to go in a horizontal? Do you want to go in a vertical? Both of my examples were in a kind of vertical manner. So this is the one that was in our slide. I had to go with the PF for our Pflugerville. But this time, and I had an idea as I was getting ready to film this video, so I'm going to kind of do a little bit different for this first stage. Getting my masking tape. If you've got scissors, you can get a much cleaner cut on the ends, but some of those torn ends of masking tape might give you a little bit more of a visual interest in what you've got. So I'm just going to go there with that. So I kind of like that little curve. Do the same thing over here, a little bit farther over. If you've watched many of these videos, I am not too much on getting exactly where, so measuring to make sure that both of these are identical. If that is something you need to do, go right ahead, measure it out. I'm trying to get a little bit of an angle on this one as well. A little bit too much, but I could kind of pull this part of the tape up and get myself a little bit more of a look there. I can also tear off a head. So I'm just going to do an M for this one. And overlapping some there. Actually, I think I want to come down a little bit on this. Line those up, tape that down. There we go. Tear off the extra tape I don't need or want. I do have more than enough tape in here, so if you've got other canvases, you can definitely do multiples. I think I'm just gonna make that piece of the legs of my M about a double width. Here, oh, that's a little too much. Actually, I think I'm gonna clean off my ends there. Although, that probably would be really cool for the idea I have. So for this, I'm going to open some of my darker colors. I'm going to start with my green. Oh, there we go. Using my number 10 brush, I'm just going to do something not quite a floral. I'm going to look for some lines, just coating. And I actually kind of like that where maybe the paint isn't quite going all the way over. Will leave me some of that black canvas popping out from underneath. I can also do shapes. Just some lines there. All right, so let's clean the brush off from that color. That nice spectral green. And for this stage, I am not going to get very close with my colors, as I don't really want them to blend, but I just want to bring some of these other colors in. If I had the time and I wanted definite separation between my colors, I got a little bit of a green in my brush there. I could wait in between colors, allowing each layer to dry so that I don't have to worry about any of them blending together. But for purposes of our video, I'm just going for it. Just giving us some yellow in places. There we go. All right. Of course, going with that green first. My water is very, very green. Let's go with another brush. So we'll leave him off for a little bit. So with a project like this, you just have any real number of opportunities and ideas for the way you both mask out your design, as I've done here with just a letter. You could do a shape, you could do an animal, any kind of detailed masking that you would like to take the time to add on. You can definitely do that. Let's come here in the corner, do a little bit here. Oh, I really like how that's starting to pop out. All right, let's move on to some of our lighter colors. I don't have any other larger brushes over here, but let's just clean off some of this bright green, chartreuse. I'm sorry, apologies. And see, now I can kind of come in and do a bit of a blending and get those looks in. For some more here. Oh, that purple iridescent with this chartreuse is very cool looking. So then for this first stage, you're just going to continue to cover your canvas as you see fit, whether it be with florals or whether it be with, as I'm doing here, with just something a little bit more abstract, swirls, all that kind of stuff. As your paint's wet, you can manipulate it some, kind of feather through, try different techniques. Oh, there we go. You could also do a combination of both, where you bring in some of those floral motifs, as it were, when you're doing a second layer. You're not limited with being a project you're doing on your own time. You're not really limited to having to complete it in any particular length of time. Oh yeah, just mixing those colors up. I didn't even quite realize, but this is a very Mardi Gras palette I've got here. Come in there like that. I am leaving a little bit of my masking tape visible, mostly so that when it comes to the point of it's dry and I want to come back in and pull that masking tape off for our final stage of production, I want to at least be able to see some of it. So I've got like a place to start pulling off that masking tape. All right, so that one is actually pretty well covered. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. Right up there. I do have one at the second stage that I prepared. Now this one is in that floral motif. I did kind of take my larger brush here and did some base with our solid colors. So the green with the yellows. I did experiment with the lighter color on the bottom. Most of the purples are this more traditional. So with some paint on my brush for kind of my stars, I did a light and then pulled through to give myself those petals, and just kind of moving my brush around to give those flower petals. Now that I've got a layer that's dry, I can really come over and add those details, and it just goes right on top. Let's give a little bit of a dark purple. Now, because I didn't really let this dry, I'm going to get some movement between the two colors, but that's not too bad. It'll give you a cool look. You just experiment with how you want your design or your flowers to kind of be in there. All right, there we go. There's my dark color, just kind of tapping that part on. But as you can see with this particular design, I definitely left a bunch more room for seeing that masking tape. Let's pull this to the side. So I'm ready for my paint pen. If you haven't used a paint pen before, very likely the tip of your paint pen won't have any color in it. You can use just a scrap of paper or perhaps your envelope. And you're just going to push that paint pen down so that the nib retracts into the pen, which is where all the ink is and the paint. And we're just going to load up that front with paint so that when we're ready to write, we have it ready to go. So I'm just going to choose one of my strips of masking tape here. And I'm just going to peel straight up. So I have that line there. We've got this guy here. Just using my nail to kind of peel away the edges, my little pile of tape. There we go. And that one gave me this corner one. That'll be very nice. So there we can just see the ghost of my M in there. So just as I come along, I'm going to use that paint pen. And I'm going to go fairly slow as I follow that line. Because the canvas has a bit of a weave to it, it's not fully smooth. If I go too fast, I'll get some splatter from the paint in the paint pen. So I'm just going to go fairly smooth, rotating the canvas as I need. Come across here. Now I did do myself a little dirty right here. I don't have anything kind of guiding me on this particular line, but that's all right. That gives me the ability to just kind of freeform it and still make my M. And if it gets to the point where your paint pen seems to not have very much paint coming out, we're just going to reload it some more. Come back through that area where I didn't feel like I got quite enough. Now I think for this, I'm going to come back up with this one arm that will help me as I connect up here in the top corner of this M. Right about to there. All right, now we need our interiors. There might still be a little piece of tape under there, but I'm going to go ahead and draw right through it. Again, you get to the point where you're not getting as much paint flow as you like. Just recharge the pen. I'm not too worried about the straightness of my particular lines, because with the addition of those designs around it, it really just kind of blends in. And so with this particular project, you get that the darkness of the black canvas really makes that masked off monogram pop, so that you've got just the designs that you've added around it. So with this one, we've got kind of a lighter design. We saw where here, as I didn't have very much involved, I had to kind of guide myself with the line. On our original example, I did do quite a bit more, very close to the line, so that I could really see where I wanted to draw the edges of those letters. And we see kind of the ragged edge here. This is an example of a piece where I cut the masking tape more than just ripped it, so you can really kind of get some nice details if you've got a pair of scissors, or even pulling and using the edge of the card to pull your masking tape off in maybe a little bit straighter of an edge. As always, we hope you enjoyed this Canvas project. We would love to see any that you've completed and look forward to next month.